children of all ages. Welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. NFL Week 7 in the 2015 season. Did alright last week. Of course, as soon as I start this video, I'm like, oh, I didn't look and see how I did. Matter of fact, you know what? I didn't even add it up yet. So, I will try to put it down in the title section with my results. Yeah, I didn't even add them up. So, I know week 5 I was 11-3 in picks. So, hopefully I was about the same. Yeah, forgot to add them up. Oops, my bad. All right, let's get started here in week 7. In the Super Bowl era, we've had one team who started 1-5 to make the playoffs. That was the 1970 Cincinnati Bengals. Currently, we have 4 teams 1-5. Of the teams that are 2-4, which is a lot of teams, of the 2-4 teams since 1990, I believe it was, 14 of the 168 have made the playoffs, but none have made it to the Super Bowl. So the teams that are 2-4, the teams that are 1-5, only one 1-5 team has ever made it to the playoffs. 14 of 168 2-4 teams have made it to the playoffs. So unfortunately, for the vast majority of the teams, their season's pretty much over. They're just playing for bragging rights. They're just playing spoiler at this point, and they bury themselves, and they're not going to get out. Which brings us to our Thursday night game. We have 2-4 teams from the NFC West. Seattle Seahawks at 2-4, and then the San Francisco 49ers. As we all know, the 49ers have looked god-awful this year. I know Seattle started 0-2. They got Cam Chancellor back, and they've been 2-2 since then. In this rival, in the series between Seattle and San Francisco, Seattle leads the series 18-15. Last year, Seattle beat San Francisco 19-3 and then 17-7. But on Thursday nights, Seattle's won 5 out of the last 6 versus the Niners. This is the 3rd time that these two teams have met on Thursday night. This will be the 4th time. San Fran is 2-1. San Fran is 5-2 all time on Thursdays, while Seattle's 2-2 all time. Since it's a home game for San Fran, Seattle's favored by 6.5. Since it's a home game for San Fran, since they're 5-2 on Thursdays, I am taking the 49ers to win. I'll give them the 6.5. I'll think Seattle will cover that 6.5, and they'll be under on 42. Next, we have the second of 3 London, England games this year from Wembley Stadium. We have the 3-3 Buffalo Bills versus the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is classified as the home team, which they probably want to have that flipped because home teams in London are 3-9 in the previous 12 games played in London. These two teams, Buffalo is 7-6 versus the Jaguars. Last year beating them 27-13. This will be the 13th game in London. Jacksonville is currently 0-2 in London. So Bills are favored by 5, so I got Buffalo winning this. I have them covering. I'm taking under on the 42. Obviously, this is the second of 3 games in England. And next week, Kansas City goes there for the 3rd and final game of the season. We have an NFC North matchup. We have the 3-2 Minnesota Vikings versus the 1-5 Detroit Lions. The Vikings have looked pretty decent this year in their history versus Detroit. This is the 108th game, this is the 109th game, excuse me. Minnesota is 36-2. Minnesota beat Detroit 26-16 earlier in the year. But in Detroit is 4-1 in the last 5. I still have Minnesota winning. They're favored by 2.5. I have them covering and under on the 44.5. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints at 2-4 versus the Indianapolis Colts at 3-3. The Saints, 2-4. Like I said earlier, slimmer of a chance to make the playoffs, not much. Indy's favored by 4.5. I have them winning and have them covering and under on the 4. Can't read my own handwriting. Episode's over. I brought it right down over on the 52. Okay, so Colts win. They cover the 4.5 and over on the 52. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben is practicing this week. Don't know if he'll return against Kansas City. We know Mike Vick got hurt last week. My dog Bentley, which a few of you have seen in my NCAA video, he won't do NFL because of Mike Vick. I don't know what his deal is, but he did it last year and walked away during the Mike Vick segment, so my dog doesn't like Mike Vick. Who knows why? I mean, but so Landry Jones, third string quarterback starting. I guess Big Ben is kind of an emergency then. I don't know for sure how that's going to work. Chiefs 1-5. God, they've looked bad this year. Without Jamal Charles now, tore his other ACL, his second ACL in 4 years. Pittsburgh's favored by 2. Couldn't find an over/under on it. So I looked at what the two teams have scored this year. I looked at what the two teams have given up, and I came up with my own over/under, 45. So I will say Pittsburgh covers the 2. They win, and it's going to be under 45. Next, we have the Houston Texans at 2-4 and the Miami Dolphins at 2-3. Miami's favored by 4. I got them covering. Taking the under on the 44.5. Probably the game of the week. AFC East, we have the 4-1 New York Jets versus the 5-0 New England Patriots. In this series between these two teams, New England is 60-54-1, 9-3 in their last 12. The last 4 games have been so close. 10 points separate these two teams in the last 4 games. 17-16, 27-25, 30-27 in overtime, 13-10. New England's favored by 10 at home. You would think as close as these two teams have played over the last few years, but I guess they want people to bite on that 10, thinking, oh, it's Tom Brady and the Patriots. I think the Patriots will go to 6-0. I think they'll win at home. I'm giving the Jets cover the 10. I'm taking over on the 48. All right, next we have a 2-4 Cleveland Browns team coming in St. Louis versus a 2-3 St. Louis Rams. St. Louis is favored by 7 at home. Yeah, Johnny Manziel back in the news. Supposedly was drinking, had a fight with his girlfriend on the highway. The NFL is supposed to rule later. Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares? I think he's going to go down as a bust, just like Rick Miner, just like Jamarcus Russell and people like that. Tebow. I think Johnny Football is in the same line as those guys. I mean, so much talent, but just wasted and just, it's a bad situation there. Sure, Rams win at home. They cover the 7, under on the 41.5. Next, we have the 5-1 Atlanta Falcons, who got beat on Thursday night, versus the Tennessee Titans at 1-4. Atlanta's favored by 4, have them winning, covering, under on the 48. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2-3 versus the 2-4 Washington Redskins. Yeah. This is one of those games. Seems like there's a lot of those games. It's like, who the fuck cares? I know, there's Buccaneers fans out there, and there's Redskins fans out there. I know you guys care, but really, I mean, the teams suck. I'm just saying. Sorry, don't mean to offend anybody. Hey, I live in the St. Louis area, so we have the Rams. Insert joke here. At least for now. Washington's favored by 3 at home. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. Sean Jackson's hurt. Alfred Morris has been hurt. Tampa Bay wins. I give them the 3. Take under on the 43. A nice little AFC West matchup here. We have the 2-3 Oakland Raiders versus the 2-4 San Diego Chargers. I actually really liked what the Raiders are doing. Derek Carr's been looking pretty good this year. Mari Cooper, I think the Raiders have turned a corner, but I don't think they're a playoff team quite yet. I do have the Raiders winning this. I'll give them the 4 points, take over on the 46.5. Should have been big NFC East matchup. We have the 2-3 Dallas Cowboys versus the 3-3 New York Jets. All time, these two teams, 62, 43-2 for Dallas. Dallas has won 5 straight. Dallas won week 1, 27-26. Eli Manning, the most interceptions thrown since I think it was 2003. I've seen the stat, like 50 of them. More than Brett Favre. Brett Favre was 4th on the list, and he's been retired how long? It seems like Eli's turned into Brett Favre, just gunslinger and interception, oops. So I got Dallas, New York is favored by 3. I got Dallas covering and over/under of 45. I'm taking the under. Sunday night we have the Philadelphia Eagles at 3-3 versus the Carolina Panthers at 5-0. Carolina is favored by 3. I have them winning and covering. I'm taking the over on the 46.5. Monday night, we have the Baltimore Ravens at 1-5 versus the 4-2 Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is favored by 9, over under of 48. I have Arizona winning and covering. So that will wrap up week 7 of the NFL season. Check out all 5 Robert Sports shows, new videos all week. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show and have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channels.